I am now finally being joined by Mr. Rahul Navrekar, the Speaker of the Assembly of Maharashtra. He becomes a very, very important person in the larger scheme of things as far as Maharashtra is concerned. Mr. Navrekar, I know you are in London. Thank you so much for sparing the time out, sir, and speaking to NDTV. I want to start by asking you, sir, on these observations which have been made by the Supreme Court, particularly about the Speaker. The Supreme Court said Speaker's decision to appoint Gogavle as the whip was illegal. The Supreme Court also said whip appointed party is crucial for the 10th schedule. The Speaker did not check who in fact was the real whip at that moment. Do you somewhere now, sir, accept that you made a mistake after the Supreme Court judgment?
Well, at the outset, let me clarify the position with regards to the appointment of, or perhaps the recognition of the whip. Insofar as the whip is concerned, Schedule 10 of the Constitution of India, until it was specified and clarified today by the Apex Court, did not specify particularly whether the political party or the legislature party is supposed to appoint the whip and therefore, till now, the precedent in Maharashtra has been that the legislature party has given a resolution of majority MLAs whereby the whip has always been appointed. But be that as it may, now that the Honorable Supreme Court has laid down the law of the land, we shall abide by that. There is no difficulty in that.
Right.
But please appreciate that the Supreme Court has not struck down the appointment per se because it was illegal, personified. It was, they have struck down it on the basis of the ruling that it is the political party that does the appointment and not the legislature party.
Okay.
And after having said that, they have further stated that in the present case, it is the Speaker who will decide who represents the political party.
That's true.
The Honorable Supreme Court has not opined as to whether it is Mr. Gogavle or is it Mr. Prabhu.
No, sir, but I don't think so that there is any ambiguity as far as that is concerned, because the Supreme Court very, very clearly has said that the political party appoints the whip, and that is why Mr. Gogavle's, the recognition of Mr. Gogavle as whip was, in that decision, the Speaker erred. So there is clarity now that at least the Speaker who was at that point of time appointed by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray should have been the whip at that moment.
No, actually, the Supreme Court has in fact asked the Speaker to look into the matter to decide
of disqualification
who represented the political party. They have not said that Mr. Prabhu should have been appointed. They have simpliciter said that the political party's nominee should have been appointed as the whip or should have been recognized as the whip. Now, they have further gone and said that the Speaker should first determine as to who represented the political party. So, now while making a decision, I will be going back to the facts of June-July 2022 to decide who was controlling the party, who was authorized to give directions on behalf of the party, who was rightfully in control of the party. These are things which I'll have to look into.
Isn't that the job as far as the Election Commission is concerned, though it has given a ruling, but are you at this moment also taking some legal opinion on the Supreme Court? Would you seek some further clarity? Because the Supreme Court has said you have to now decide in a reasonable amount of time the disqualification of 16 MLAs, including Mr. Shinde.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that I don't want to delay this matter at all. But having said that, you are well aware of the jurisprudence that prevails in our country. Justice hurried is justice buried, and justice delayed is justice denied. And all the provisions of CPC are applicable to the petitions that have been filed before me. So there will have to be evidence that will have to be led. There will be examination in chief, there will be cross-examination, there will be verification. And above all, I am first to decide who is going to be who was in control of the party, who was rightfully representing the party in June-July 2022. Okay. So there's a lengthy process that is involved, and I would not like to indulge in hurrying up things which could lead to miscarriage of justice.
What could be that reasonable time? Because the Supreme Court said it should be designed in a reasonable time. Do you have a time frame in mind, sir?
Well, as I mentioned, that it's very difficult for me to set out a time frame at this point of time. But I shall endeavor to complete the process at the earliest. But at the same breath, I would like to say that although I would endeavor to finish it at the earliest, I will not hurry into things which will lead to miscarriage of justice.
In the end, I mean, the Congress, the lawyers, those who in fact represented Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, they had come out and said that now the Supreme Court has made it very clear that the appointment of the whip, Mr. Gogable, was illegal. That means the whip should have been Mr. Sunil Prabhu. In that scenario, they are arguing that this is an open and shut case. That if whip was Sunil Prabhu, then these 16 MLAs stand against the whip that was issued by Mr. Prabhu, and hence the speaker should immediately decide and make them disqualified from the assembly.
Well, I am not in agreement with this argument for the simple reason that if it was so simple, the court would not have asked me to get into the issue of deciding who was in control of the political party. Mr. Gogable's appointment as the whip per se has been held bad in law for the simple reason that his appointment was done on the basis that he is an appointee of the legislature party. Now that the court has struck that down and they've said that you need to decide on the basis of political party, the court has never said that Shiv Sena led by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray is the political party which actually represents Shiv Sena, or is it Shiv Sena led by Mr. Eknath Shinde is the actual party that represents Shiv Sena.
Okay.
So I am yet to decide that, and the court has not opined anywhere that a particular faction actually represents Shiv Sena. So once I decide that, I'll be able to decide whether it is the appointee of Mr. Uddhav Thackeray or the appointee of Mr. Eknath Shinde who represents would be appropriate to be the whip.
Mr. Navrekar, in conclusion, I would just like to ask you, sir, today two important observations were made by the Supreme Court on two constitutional posts, one of the governor, one of the speaker. Is there a lesson to be learned as far as the conduct of the speaker is concerned with what the Supreme Court has said today?
Well, I can assure you that the office of the speaker in this context has acted absolutely in an unbiased manner. I have acted in accordance with the precedents that are prevalent in the state assembly. I've acted on the basis of the record before me, and so there is no reason for me to be concerned on that ground. But let me tell you that parliamentary democracy is an evolving system. The anti-defection law that existed a decade or two back today the version that we see is a much stronger version.
Right.
So this is a piece of legislation that is going to keep on changing with time.
Okay.
When incidents like these come up, the law becomes stronger. But that does not mean we should attribute malice to the presiding officer or anyone for that matter.
All right, Mr. Navrekar, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us here on NDTV. Good to have you to clarify the position of the Speaker, the most important position at this moment as far as the stability of the Maharashtra government is concerned. Thank you, sir. It will be a very hectic days when you are back in India as the Speaker of the Assembly of Maharashtra.